I suggest you could either use the Discord channel to ask your question or the chat of this track, or you can even unmute yourself and just ask the question straight away. I see we're not that much people here, so we could probably arrange a kind of a standard discussion. So don't be too shy, and feel free to ask whatever you want. So far we can see we do not really have a lot. So I have a first question here from Bunhin. So he's asking that Odoo is not really supporting multi-warehouse hosting when cost may differ between a warehouse from another, and how we could tackle or what I think about it. Thanks for the question. So it's not a so easy topic, and I think the answer is not really yes or really no. It depends a bit on your context. So first of all, if you have several companies and each owns several warehouses, for example, in different countries, then the costing will be done at each company level, so you won't face really this problem. Now, if it's the same company that owns several warehouses and the costs differ from one to another, you should switch to a Odoo real costing and a perpetual inventory mode. And it means every inbound you have in your warehouse will be accounted with its proper cost. And therefore, you can know the cost of each and every moves that are entered in Odoo. Now, it's true that from an accounting perspective, using this perpetual inventory will still account every moves in one booking account, and therefore there you will not know. But as the information is stored in each and every stock move, you can compute that using an export or whatever ODBC connection in an Excel sheet. I mean, I don't think the report exists in Odoo, but now since version 11, I think, or 10, the value is stored in the move. Therefore, it could be rather easy to extract the cost of a certain warehouse or another. I hope I answer the question. If not, please raise a hand. Now maybe you want to explain us a bit more the use case you want to solve. The case for the same company, yes. Well, so this is what I mean. So if one company owns several warehouses and you need a costing per warehouse, then you have to go for the rail costing, and to know the cost of a good for a certain warehouse, you have to extract this information from all the moves that were get in this specific warehouse. From the accounting perspective, Odoo will account all of those moves in the same booking account, and therefore at company level, it is the cost of all warehouse that will be accounted, but that is also correct from a company perspective. But yeah, as I've told you, the information is still stored in a move, so that should not be a problem for you to extract that information. Do we have any other questions? Not yet. So I'll be patient. I'm checking on Discord, but there's no more question here. What I do is I'm gonna stay online here if anyone join in the meanwhile for this next half hour. So in case any question came up in your mind, just chat it there in the chat. Oh, I got another one. So Bunhin is again asking if using FIFO, the movement to the customer, will it have the right cost on the sales? So yes, if you're in real costing, the move will have the right cost for the sales. So that's perfectly correct. That's why I tell you that you don't have any report out of the box in Odoo to know the cost of a given warehouse. But if at the end of the day you want to compute the margin of a specific sales order, depending on where the goods have been shipped from, there's nothing out of the box in Odoo, but all the information in the data model is well stored and you can extract it. You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello?
I want to have a direct question. I think it's better.
No problem. I hear you just a bit from far away.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not using the microphone, I think. Another question is about the MRP.
Yes.
The production rightly in Odoo, we should have at least one quantity produced before we can post the inventory, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Actually, can we? What is the risk if we can post the order material before the finished good is finished? Because in some situation the production may not so. I think may need a long time to be between the start of the issuing the material until the production is finished, right?
Yes.
And the accounting usually want it to record in the
Yes.
maybe the WIP. My question is why Odoo is not allow us to post the inventory for the raw material before the finished good is finished.
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, first, manufacturing is not my best strength, but I know exactly the problem you're pointing out here. It's to account for the work in progress, right? So, of course, if all your manufacturing orders are closed every day at an accounting period closing, it's rather easy to evaluate your work in progress, how everything is closed. Therefore, you can just take the value of your stock and that's it. Now, if you take 2 months to produce something, it's become much more important to account the real value of each and every started manufacturing order, taking into account what has been actually produced in terms of value. So if you build something with 10 components and it takes you maybe not 2 months, but even a week, and this week is over the closing period, maybe if it is at a half of it, you cannot consider the cost in accounting of the final product because it's not yet finished, but you can neither consider only the cost of the raw material because you already worked on it, and therefore the value is higher than the sum of the raw material.
Yes.
And I'm not aware of any mechanism in Odoo that actually really help in there. I agree with you. A good thing would be to be able to already compute the cost based on this raw material or progress on the manufacturing order, but I don't think there's nothing that exists in there. And even if you would post the consumption of the raw material before you post the finished product, it will be even worse, because you will consume your raw product and then you will put out of your stock the raw material, but you won't get in the final product. So the valuation of your stocks will be even worse than if you just account the raw material, you see. So a good way to deal with that probably will be to be able to compute the ratio of progress on a manufacturing order to apply on the value on the finished product, something of this kind. Or at least if I would have to do something, I will look in this direction. I don't know if I was clear enough, but at least on my knowledge, there's nothing that exists to compute the work in progress cost or inventory value of a given manufacturing order in Odoo yet.
All right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a common question.
For the production that take long time, I see this is the problem, because Odoo is not allow us to post in the process, and if we override to do that, as you said, that we will have another worse situation, because even in the version 13, I think the calculation of the produced product is based on the consumption. If we post maybe not in the proportion to the finished good, I think the cost will be wrong also.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's perfectly right. The cost valuation of the work in progress manufacturing order in Odoo is not yet at the state of the art, let's say, and there's some work to be done here. I think we have worked on this once. I just try to remember how we did that.
So the modules in OCA or in some other report, I think it is posting the even we move to the internal location.
Yes.
So, but it is only solve the accounting side, but
Absolutely.
Not complete solution, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly the point, yes. So you could actually move the raw material still in an internal location, then you can post them. So you still account for their value, but as you said, it's still not completely solved the thing. Otherwise, you will have to compute kind of a ratio of progress on your manufacturing order or something of this kind. It's not so easy to do. Huh? It's not so easy to do, especially if you have a lot of value while you produce your goods, because you see, if you make 10 minutes work to produce something out of your raw material, you could probably not really care too much about this problem. But of course, if you take a lot of time, therefore you bring a lot of value every time you manufacture something, then of course the way I do it today is really too weak, right? You absolutely need to extend that. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not aware of any better solution than the one you mentioned, and there's probably some development to take into account to achieve that.
Okay. Another question is, can we register the movement of product or the material into the manufacturing order movement? I mean that maybe we in the case like in the farm, maybe in the breeder, we grow up the breeder from the DOC, daily odd chicks, and we put maybe some material for the chicken to grow, like the food maybe, the medicine and everything. So this this will become a mature chicken maybe, and then ready to production. at that time we will collect all the inventory movement, become an live asset, then start from that, the chicken will have the production, and we will amortize the chicken, so the costing will be right. And I think the solution maybe we can, every material we give to the chicken during the growing period can be treated as the manufacturing order, but in the long time. And every material we give to the chicken, we register in that we may call a manufacturing order. So in the end of the day, when the time is come to transform it to the live asset, and this all material become the material consumed in the production. Do you think so? You get my point.
I never thought using manufacturing order to grow up chicken, to be frankly honest, but it's an interesting idea, I would say, in your case, because then you can record everything you use to produce the chicken. Yeah. The only thing is then you need to find a way to post the move of the raw material, being the food you give to the chicken or whatever material you used to grow them up.
Mm.
But the good thing is then you will have at the end, when you will produce the chicken at the end of the growing period,
Yes.
you will have a good summarized up of your costing structure to grow chickens, right? So that's the interesting part of using this instead of something else. Now, well, I don't know how we make a choice about it. Another mean to do that, you see, if you only grow chicken, you could just consume that by removing them from your stock over a certain period, and at the end you know how many you used and how many that has costed you, and you know how many chicken you have produced. But of course you do not have a nice report as if you were using a manufacturing order. It's a specific case. I need to maybe to think a bit more about it, but I like the idea to use this manufacturing order for that. I think the results you get out of it and the numbers you get out of it out of the box is in favor of using that for this need, I would say.
Yes, but I'm thinking that how we can register the consumption in the material into a specific we call it manufacturing order at this just to make a sample, I think, because if we need to book the consumption into the balance sheet account, I think, and not in the profit and loss, of course, but we need to record it every time, and we don't need to do it manually in the end of the growing period. So just that's the idea, and I don't see the mechanism to register in the manufacturing order for the movement, because I think it is in a different model and different.
Yeah, but if you do a perpetual inventory and you configure
Yes.
properly the account, that every move gets out of your place is accounted in a certain account.
Yes.
There's no restriction that you post it on the P&L or not, right? You
Yes,
can choose whatever account. So if you do so, you could configure this perpetual inventory so your component is not booked in the P&L account, but on the balance sheet ones, and I think that's gonna work.
Yes, that's right.
So the part that you may miss is after you post it on the balance sheet, you want to counterpart it to the P&L account afterwards when
when
we need it manually then.
When we post to in the growing, I think the concept is like the asset in the progress. We build the cost into the account. When it is finished, let's become a live asset. and then we start the depreciation of the asset or the amortization, and the asset will be in the production, and the
Yes.
consumption starting at that time will be the expenses for the production, for the production. So will be balance the P&L also. But at the time, I think I don't see the mechanism to register the consumption into the manufacturing order.
Yes,
We
but
only
that
can,
would be an easy development, right? I mean, if you need just to add a little button so you're able to post consumption on an order,
yes,
it's not a big deal, right? So at the end of the day, it's just posting a move that is already there, already created, and now in version 13 you can easily add new. In version 14, you can easily add new component or consumption thing that weren't planned in the bill of material.
yes,
So basically, it should work pretty well. The only thing you miss is to be able to post a certain quantity of a certain raw material at the time you decide.
yes, that's right.
So this is just validating a move. I mean, this is really easy to do.
I see,
Um,
I see.
so so I think you should be able to manufacture chicken then.
That's right. So I'm trying to use the code base existing without too much the custom development, I think. But at least small development may do. Okay.
Okay. No, then I
And the
think it
other
should
thing
work.
is the in the Odoo production at the time, the byproduct. Why is the code not having the option for the sharing the material cost? Uh,
No, I don't get the question.
I give the example. Said that we want to produce the shirt, which is they have the many size SML, XL, right? And
Hmm.
actually in the production, they layer all the fabric in a table, in the long table, with the cutting pattern for the all size in the last layer, and they cut everything in the same time. So actually, this approach can be, we can use the byproduct production, but unfortunately, the the resulted side product is not taking the cost of the raw material at the moment.
Yes, correct.
I think
Yeah.
this in the I don't know what is, maybe it's not developed yet.
But I think if you tick this option that a manufacturing order is not only producing a finished product, but also some additional other product, you know what I mean?
Yes, I mean, and I know, and at
Uh,
the time we should have option to whether we should share the material cost or not. I think so. The better way should be like that.
I think in that case it will account the cost of your additional produced product.
Yes,
So maybe you can tackle this problem with that. I'm not 100% sure, but I will try this way. So your finished product is product A. Then you also say that for this product, when you produce it, it will also product C and D as a additional produced product, and C and D get their own cost. When you end up your manufacturing order, it should account the proper cost of those C and D products in your stock valuation, I think.
yes, yes.
So that should probably work in standard, I would say.
Not at the moment. In the standard, even when we have the side product like CND,
Mm-hmm.
the CND product only when the production is finished, post to the inventory, they only care on the standard cost in the form of in the product form. So
Yes,
it is
but that means the
not based
standard
on
cost,
the,
it's the
yes,
standard cost of C and D then, right?
yes. But
So
what we think is the CND because they have some value, and we want to share the raw material to that.
Yeah, but
CND
look,
also.
that you cannot ask a system to compute for you, right? You don't know how many raw material is part of the composition of C and the composition of D, because you don't have a bill of material for that. So it's very hard for a system to compute which part of the raw material cost it should assign to C or D, right? That's why you need to rely on standard costing. So this computation of what is the standard price you put on C or D is an exercise to be done outside, because there's no way the system can know it actually, or if you have a very mathematical rule that you could implement it in this as an additional module, but otherwise, I mean, it's quite logical. It's like this, I would say.
Sure. Okay. Thank you for your time, Joel.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, we're already reaching the end of it. I don't know if anyone else wants to take the speech for the last minutes we have. Any other questions around the corner?
Seems not. Not sure about the...
So it would have been a chicken production MEA session.
Sorry. Actually.
But yeah, it was a funny one. I wasn't prepared for chicken questions, but that was funny. Thank you.
I just take a sample. It's sample, right?
No, it's okay. It was good one. I liked it. Okay, cool. So I released the track for the next people, I guess.
Yes, we have a 20 minutes break. So, well, okay. For now, thank you very much, Mr. President. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everyone, for participating here, and see you in 20 minutes.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.